so we can discuss it. Our Tuesday calls are typically now designed so that the meeting should change a little bit towards our policies and plans for events and things we want to do as far as fundraising. And this gets spilled into the vice presidents and the committees as well, so that they're in the loop about all this. Fridays are our metrics day. So the national office staff has metrics that they have to meet as well. And again, it's not punitive. If they're not able to meet these goals or these quarterly goals that we have, then we adjust. And we try to figure out, well, was this a good goal? Were we over anxious about trying to get to it or not? So I really commend the national office staff, who has done an amazing job. They've been thrown into a lot of cold water in this first 3 weeks. We had to start with a big issue with regard to the convention in October. And I want to thank Mark and Frank, but in particularly Paul Polo, who negotiated the deal with the Hyatt, which could have cost us over $156,000 had we not been able to do this. And we did meet some resistance, but Paul, with his leadership and with the rest, were able to get them to push our convention in October to August of 2023 with no penalty whatsoever. So let's just give a shout out right there to Paul and those guys. That great job, guys, on that. So we then turn to our Friday metrics call, but also our weekly wins. This is all stuff that I've learned from my business coach, and I'm just passing that knowledge over to these guys. And we basically go through everyone that's on that call. So what was your weekly win, your number one thing, because they're doing so many great things to move that ball forward. So it's been a little bit of a change in the meetings in terms of how we go about the meetings, but the meetings themselves are very much like they were previously. And again, I always welcome the intercession of Paul and Joe and Nancy on those calls to the extent that they wish to be, because their experience is important. Okay, so one of the things that we are trying to do right now is deal with policies and procedures. This is one of the tedious things. Emily got caught this tedious thing from the office, and Emily, thank you for that. We have no policies and procedures, and that's, in my mind, relatively unhealthy. If anybody's run a business or is involved in an organization, policies and procedures are important. So I want to thank all of the officers that have left a previous position and now gone to either another position or not, who have actually put together a job description that goes beyond the bylaws. It literally gives them the next officer, an operational understanding of what it is that position entails. And so what my goal is going to be, every time we have a new policy, we put it in our policy and procedures manual. And this will be an excellent transition document for Joe Boncoria and Mike Polo and down the line. So we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. All of the positions, the table of organization, which I hope you took a look at. Dr. Kovacs did a phenomenal job of putting that together, and this is still a work in progress. But for now on, all we got to do is now swap out the names and the pictures. By the way, if you're on there and you don't have a picture, please forward it to Emily so we can plug you in. But now we have the table of organization. And I think that table of organization is really important because it kind of, I think on many instances has caused problems where people, especially from Grand Lodges or local lodges, don't know where to go in the organization, because we do have a lot of moving pieces but in the group. So that's going to really assist in terms of getting people to the right space. Also, an employee handbook. We've come to learn that there was one that was drafted in 2006. I've spoken to a number of people who have been around for a while and have a lot of institutional knowledge. I'm not sure that we ever were aware there was a handbook, an employee handbook in 2006. We're not aware whether or not the Supreme Council had ever approved such a handbook. Nevertheless, one does exist. It's now in the hands of the National Auditor and others and some HR specialists who are going to be going through that handbook to make sure. I'm being told that a lot of this stuff is not even current. It's not even up to date. And I do believe that none of the employees, maybe Miles, but either Miles and if that may be it, have ever received this employee handbook. So we're trying to straighten out that kind of stuff as well so that we can get ourselves in a healthy space. I want to talk about old ways versus new ways. And I know that this is always an issue with the organization, but I can't say this enough. These ideas, new ideas that are coming in, and we'll get to the bylaws in a minute, and old ways of doing things are not enemies of one another. they can very easily complement one another. We're not changing the entire structure and saying that we're no longer doing things the way we did them before. What we're saying is that we're trying to bring in fresh and creative ideas to complement those things that we did before. So, don't be afraid that the whole organization is just going, to pot because we're going to abandon all of our old ways, quote unquote. An example I can give you that is the technology committee, and I don't think anybody here would say that it hasn't been the group did a great job with our Facebook Live series, over 800,000 views. We're getting ready to hit 3.2 million homes on a TV station that hopefully will generate brand awareness as well as membership. It's really tremendous. That was all from the tech committee. And the tech committee didn't stop doing the things that it did before with traditional email campaigns or Questa Mese or the Italian American magazine. We didn't stop any of that. We complemented it with additional programming, which kind of gets me to the committee assignments. One of the reasons why I want co-chairs on those committee assignments is we have already planned numerous things, more than those committees have ever done before. And it's going to require a significant amount of leadership on those committees. And so we believe that having two people on those committees was important. Some have it opined, and sometimes we drill down to the point where, what's the expression? Good is the enemy of perfection, or perfection is the enemy of good, rather. And I'm not concerned about arguments or disagreements among co-chairs in an organization. I believe that they can be easily worked out. We're all decent people. There can be disagreement. That's not a problem. Just like when we go through these bylaws, that's fine. That's healthy. If there is an issue, there's always an advisor there, and there's always myself. But again, I don't anticipate that being a problem. What I do see that's important with regard to the co-chairs is we did the best we could to reach out to the Grand Lodges and to the states to say, please give us some multi-generational talent that you have, that you see, that we can plug into positions of authority so we can see fresh faces, fresh looks, and fresh ideas. Again, we're not abandoning old ways of doing things. We're complementing them with new ways of doing things and getting a look out there so that we always ask, why can't we get new members? So sometimes you hear this phrase, we've never done it that way before. I heard that a lot when I was prosecutor. I'll give you my I see Denise Finari laughing, right? You're right in front of my screen, Denise. So that must touch a tickle bone with you. When I was prosecutor, I heard that over and over and over again. So my line was always the same. I'm going to take you down to the first floor of the courthouse, and I'm going to open the window, and I'm going to throw you out. At that time, when I had taken over the organization, of course, I never did that, but it was just a way of trying to express something. My organization, unfortunately, was not where it should be. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. We are down 100,000 members from where we used to be. That's a stark, sorry, I'm changing, my view keeps changing for some reason. That is a stark reality of where we are, and we are hemorrhaging membership as we speak. We've all listened to Dr. D'Annunzio's discussion of this for many years, sending off the alarm bells, but all is not lost here with respect to this. We have a lot of great institutional clout. We have a national building, and we have a great marketing plan. We have a great team at the national office. We have a great team of vice presidents. We've got a great team of committees. And we now have professionals that are advising us as to messaging for younger people and for both retention of members as well as getting new members in. And we have to, I think, recognize and do an honest look in the mirror is that we have not necessarily let the world know how attractive an organization we are. And we're going to be doing that continually with the technology committee, working with the other committees, as well as our TV series and a lot of programming and a lot of fun events. I can't wait till you guys hear some of the crazy stuff we have planned that you guys are going to participate in by way of like the slogan contest, but just a lot more our pet competition and a lot of cool things that we hope to get a lot of engagement from. And so there's groups that are already working on those programs as well. So the line, we never did it that way before, I respect and understand, but it won't resonate. I don't have a first floor of a courthouse to give you the line to, but guys, we're gonna not do away with those things that work traditionally. we're complementing them with new things like we did with the technology committee over the last 2 years. And I want to thank everybody who's been very, for the most part, extremely supportive of this direction. And I think it means a lot in order for us to move forward. Okay, members of committees. I know actually, I feel bad, Emily and Dr. Kovach, if you're on, I'm not sure if you're here or not. This was a daunting project. This was because there were people, understandably, I guess, who didn't necessarily follow the protocol that we sent out. So we were getting text messages from people and emails, and somebody sent up a smoke signal. I mean, there was all sorts of data coming in different ways to people who wanted to participate. We didn't get a lot of, we got individuals who responded. We didn't get a lot of necessarily Grand Lodge presence. Some did, that pushed people forward. And for example, I saw on the chart today, Michelle Ment will be working with Diane Santoro on the Grand Lodge Committee as a co-chair on that. There's just certain pieces that we have to put together, give us some time, like with the TO and like the committee list. We've never done anything like this before, and we're working hard at getting it done. There are spaces available there. So there are a few spaces available. Please, I'm begging of you, if you know somebody who's energetic and wants to do a really good job and wants to be on a committee that's really going to be run in a professional way with agendas and metrics and looking forward to moving that ball forward, the store is still open to submit those names, whether it be you or somebody else who may want to participate in our membership, in our committees. I apologize. The organizational chart, again, I think was very powerful, and I thank Mary for that. And next comes the national office staff. Amazing. We have done things. We have put in a task management system. So if you guys can't possibly imagine, I mean, I thought I knew a lot about the organization, but I don't think you can possibly imagine the number of things that are going on and the number of moving pieces and people that are involved in them. And what I think started to happen was institutional slack, where because we weren't monitoring, because we didn't have a management system, a lot of times people didn't know who was assigned to the task, who was supposed to do the task, when the task was supposed to be completed. So particularly Justin from the office, who's on this call, I believe, I hope, and he is the person who is the taskmaster of Basecamp, it's called. You may have already gotten an invitation from Basecamp, and don't be afraid of it. If it's something that you're uncomfortable with, we always have workarounds to that. But so far, everybody has been able to hit that button. It says join Basecamp, and it's a very intuitive system. And all it is it's not a message board, by the way. It's not a replacement for emails. What it is just when tasks for your committees are being done, you put them in there, who's assigned to the task, what the due date is, and who's assigned to know when that task is complete. It's a great organizational tool. You can use it, or you can use whatever you do, so long as those metrics are being captured and we're able to see what it is that we're moving the ball in that direction. Also, the national office is looking into a CRM. They've done some amazing investigation with respect to that. And so all of our data, for example, just to show you the power of a CRM, will be located in one place, not in multiple places. We won't have to be repeating the same things over and over again. That gets back to our policies and procedures too. And in it, for example, when a new member is potentially interested in the organization, we're able to put them in a sequencing thing. You don't have to know what it means. It does it automatically, but event messages are sent out on a sporadic basis in order to try to entice that individual to join the organization. And we also provide content to them along the way. So the national office was tasked from the beginning to handle a convention situation, to get a task management system together, to start looking into a CRM, to start doing policies and procedures, to start working on a bylaw, or rather an employment manual in the office, and many, many more things. So they have been amazing. They're superstars. So I'm going to turn it over to Justin and Miles to give us a little bit of their perspective.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. We're gonna touch on a few of the things that you did, and hopefully not bore anybody. We'll try to add some jokes in along the way as well. As everybody know, our COO Jody Japrani left, and with that came a little bit of restructuring, some shifting, and so at the moment, Miles and I have been tasked with with helping run the office. And everyone has gotten on board with that. Everyone has kind of shifted their tasks around for the ease of everybody. I know that we have.
Here, let me share my screen. We have a
was-
PowerPoint presentation that I think Bob already covered. We can elaborate.
we'll touch on some points.
But let us know how you feel about those things and how they've improved efficiencies or not.
Sure.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
How's it looking?
Beautiful.
Does that look like a robust PowerPoint slide?
You're the man.
All right. Let's go bullet point by bullet point. There's not too many, so we won't bore you, but we'll start off.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, the office staff we've been streamlining of tasks, and we'll touch on Basecamp coming up here, and Bob already did, but that has been a tremendous help. It adds a level of accountability that wasn't previously there, in the sense that you can see when things were given to people, you can put deadlines on things, and it, like I said, it creates this sense of accountability, but also pride in the tasks and projects and teams that you're put on. So it's been
yeah, especially because we are a small team, but we're a really effective team. So when we see our strengths and where people can help out, where each team member can take a portion of a project, this is where streamlining of tasks and responsibilities becomes crucial. Anyone who's worked in a nonprofit organization knows this. I've spent my whole life in nonprofit organizations. It's always this: you're juggling a million different things, and you're pitching in wherever you can help. And then this kind of leads into increasing our responsibilities just in ways that create that are more effective, more efficient, but also more productive. And a specific example is with the direct mailings we do for the foundation. You all get the calendars. Everybody loves the calendars, the tote bags, everything. I can see where I lend my skills through writing, and also because doing the magazine puts me, and the publications puts me at a center point of knowing everything that the foundation is doing. So Joe Shami and I are in close contact. And so taking it upon myself to reach out to the direct mail program and be involved in the letter writing that goes out. So when these letters go out with the calendar, we can have specific concrete things that the foundation is doing, such as a clear example that everybody here knows is Helper Military Heroes. We give out a van every year. Now, it would be nice if those letters mentioned that. It would be even better if they produced the picture of the veterans sitting in the van. The people across the country that get those letters, they don't know that. So this is a way that we can use our own skills to say, hey, where can I pitch in? Where can I do something to make things more effective? And I know Joe Shami and a lot of you across the country have helped him out with this. We're trying to figure out how much money in scholarships in total foundation, Grand Lodge, local lodges raise every year. My guess is it's $1 million. I think we're up to 700,000. So if you haven't reported on that, please do, because it'll be really nice to mention that in one of these letters. Like, hey, we give $1 million out a year to students.
It's a great touching point, a great number that we can highlight, and show all the good that we do on every single level around the country.
The next point is we're looking to bring some new staff in to take tasks either off of Justin's plate, off of my plate, off of M's plate, or pitch in new ways that they have new initiatives and new ideas. The more that we can be freed up to pursue those new initiatives, the better the orders are going to be. And also, if we bring somebody in who has all of these ideas, the more robust we're going to be. We did bring in an admin assistant. Her name's Stephanie Strickland. She majored in Italian. So if you know Italian, give the office a call and help her brush up on it. She's very good. I help you brush up on it. The other day, Justin and Stephanie were talking in Italian to each other. I kind of understood, but I think they were talking about me, but
we only said good things.
Yeah. So she's been really good to start off. She's a few weeks in, so call the office in the afternoon. Say hi to her. She's really personable. She's really wonderful. And we're also searching for a social media and marketing specialist. This would help out in a lot of ways. We're looking for somebody who can take some things off of Justin, so that Justin can contribute in other ways, but also somebody who can contribute in new, innovative ways that they think of themselves.
So as Bob touched on, one of the kind of major, one of the major projects or quarterly rocks that we've been working on since, for the past 3.5 weeks have been SOPs. So implementing standard operating procedures and policies that traditionally haven't existed. We've been lucky enough, and that Emily has kind of taken this project on and run with it. And she's been wonderful, and she's been reaching out to everybody to get for the outgoing officers, so that for every new officer that ever comes in, for every new staff member that comes in, for every new vice president that comes in, you have kind of a layout of what the expectations are, what the people before you did, and it's going to help run a much smoother organization. And I don't know if you want to touch on it. I don't want to put you on the spot. I know it's been, as Bob mentioned, it's been a beast of a project, but
definitely worthwhile, and it's definitely a great idea for us to have this in place going forward. I think it'll be a great help to everybody.
And yeah, perfect.
All right, did I hit at the point? I can't see what
you got it up. So
two bullets each guys. The employee handbook, that's something Bob touched on, and I was the only one that even knew this existed. And when I got it, I came aboard in 2015. When I got it, it was already pretty outdated. Hasn't been updated since. So we're taking it back out. And Frank Gattuso, we've already had a meeting with him, and we're talking to him tomorrow morning. He's going through it, spearheading the update. He's been awesome about it so far, and we'll get it into working shape so that we all know what to expect. Anyone new coming in knows what to expect, and everyone's on the same page. It's something that's been a necessary update for some time.
We're hoping we can have it in working order by the time we fill the social media and marketing specialist, so that it can be sitting on their desk when they come in for their first day. So that's the hope. Well, fingers crossed for the follow-up meeting tomorrow morning. So next on the list are a task that Adam was working on with Jeff Drake, actually. So it was an audit of vendors to reduce costs and improve efficiencies. And this really goes back to one of the most common themes, through what Bob was speaking on and through what Miles and I are speaking on, and that is finding metrics and measurable numbers. So, the point of this is, see how much is going out and see where we can reduce those costs and improve in an efficient manner. Do we need to be paying this person this amount of money? Do we really need these vendors for NAILA? Do we need these planners for NAILA? Do we need these deliveries on a weekly basis to the office or on a monthly basis? Those kinds of things to really, make it a more streamlined and efficient organization. So that was something, like I mentioned, that Adam and Jeff Drake spearheaded together. And it's an ongoing project. It's not over, but it's been something that is, it's another huge benefit to not only the office, but the organization as a whole.
All right. And yeah, to Bob's point, a lot of things have been done the same way for a long time. That doesn't mean they don't continue that way, but he's opened it up to say, hey, maybe we could change it up to reduce some costs, especially for the gala, reduce the cost this way to raise more money for the foundation. And if it's an idea, and people could be like, hey, Miles, get out of here. It's not the best idea. Let's keep it the way it is. Okay, fair enough. But it's good that we're having an open discussion about these things.
Yeah, so I won't bore everybody with Basecamp, because I've definitely geeked out on it for the past three weeks to a month, but it's the task management tool that we decided on. We played with a few different options, and this is the one that we decided on. And like I mentioned before when we were talking about accountability, this is something that has created a level of accountability that is necessary for us as a small office. As Miles mentioned, we have a lot of moving parts. And so to kind of have all of our projects, tasks, to-dos, teams all in one place, inclusive of, most of the people on this call, it really makes life a lot easier for us. We can just go straight to our Basecamp. We can pull up the project. We can see the to-do date. We can see if people have completed it. If it's not been completed, if it's past the due date, we can follow up. So it's really something that's going to help us increase efficiency in the office, and then also accountability for ourselves. And then CRM. So, as Bob mentioned, this is an extremely powerful tool. So CRM stands for customer relationship management. And it's something that a business or organization uses traditionally to interact with customers, whether that be through sales or through following up on leads. But it includes a way to analyze data and study that information that then makes you a better organization. And it allows you to store all of that information in one place, like Bob was mentioning. So we, Dr. Mary Kovach and I have been kind of spearheading this. It's still ongoing. We're hoping to have a final decision by next week. We actually have a demo coming up later in the week with, I think, our leading candidate, which is, it's a special CRM for nonprofits. But it's, this is something that I think will, really benefit the organization as a whole. We're going to keep saying streamline, but it's going to really, once it's up and running, having all these processes and all in one place is going to be, it's going to be a huge advantage for us. Yeah, and this is, like I said, this is the common theme. So setting up metrics to measure our success, whether that be through our quarterly rocks, whether that be through CRM, through Basecamp. This is the way that we're going to be, have something measurable. It's not just completing something, it's completing something to that number. And if we don't reach that number, that's fine, but then we can take a step back and we can analyze why we didn't reach that number and come up with a better plan to then reattack that. So one way that we're going to do this is we are going to have a weekly dashboard. And on that dashboard, we can, for us in the office, for Bob, for Mary, for Mark, we can kind of track, the different tasks, the projects, and have our quarterly rocks on there, which are a little bit longer term goals that we're working up towards through that whole period. So that's going to be another really cool advantage kind of at our disposal.
So we've continued something that we started, especially with the onset of the pandemic, our weekly calls with the office as well as with the officers, with Bob and with Mark. And we've started, actually, Justin specifically spearheads the detailed agendas that we go through. He is robust agenda making master. And he makes very, very detailed agendas that address every point that we want to tackle in our weekly calls. We have calls on Tuesdays and Fridays to split up the week, and we go over whatever's pertinent to keep everybody on the same page and what needs to be done next. They've been really, really effective. And then one thing that Bob has introduced, it all popped up at once, quarterly rocks, things that you can actually measure. Some things you can't measure. Some things are just the goodness of Italian heritage. But some things you actually can measure, like YouTube subscribers. We are trying to get 1,000, and I will put in a plug that not only should everyone on this Zoom go on YouTube and subscribe to the Order Sons and Daughters of Italy and America YouTube channel. If everybody on this call got 5 people to subscribe to that channel, we would be over 1,000 subscribers, which is our goal. And you can call me up personally if you're the 1,000. Tell me that I'm going to have to change an article that's about to appear in the fall issue. But you better get on it soon. Otherwise, the article is going to come out and be outdated. I don't want that to happen. But also something like at-large members we can calculate. Italian America magazine subscribers we can calculate, which actually went up during the pandemic. People ordered the magazine during the pandemic. How can we continue that? And lodge members as well. We get quarterly reports. These are things that are measurable, and we can have goals in place that can really jazz people up about getting there. Something that we haven't really done before or kept track of. And then lastly, we're going to have a lot of fun. We have a lot of new projects in store, and especially some contests coming up that I think everybody's going to be jazzed about. Obviously, everybody on this Zoom, but any member across the country. And I guess it's not too early for me to give a sneak preview, is it, of what we have coming up? All right. For October to mid-November, it won't start until October 1st. So don't submit anything just yet. We're through My Italian Family. Bianca Ottone, who runs My Italian Family, is going to give away a genealogy package. And we're going to do a family photo contest of your ancestors. Everybody likes old pictures of families. I know my mom's got one raring to go. She's waiting for October 1st. And it's going to be a fun contest, something that energizes the membership. You have to be a member to enter, and something that is just a feel-good, positive contest. We'll get all of these pictures, and then Frank Gattuso and Tony Perfilio have been extraordinary at hammering out the rules so that we can collect these pictures, and then we can share them periodically through our Instagram. Some sort of synergy working here, where we do a contest that energizes the membership. Everybody's going to want to submit their family photo mine's from 1915. I know that exactly. But everybody's going to want to submit some sort of family photo, and then we'll have those to share on our own social media platforms that are going to attract people. Everybody loves seeing those photos. So that's just one contest. We have a lot of contests coming down the pipeline, things in store, great ideas, things that will energize members across the country. So it'll be a fun time as well,
and hopefully attract new members as well. If people see the fun things that we're doing, and like Miles said, we have quite a few in our back pocket that we're hoping to roll out. And on top of that is the continuation of our OSDIA interviews live, which is coming back for a 4th season in 2 weeks from today. So everyone, make sure you tune in Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. We'll be back in your, I would say, living rooms, but wherever you have your computer set up.
All right, guys, I can't thank you enough. I told them, so our people know that I go fast. So if you need to slow me down and tell me that, it's too much, just let me know. And they never did, and they've accomplished, all their tasks in excellent professional fashion. We're lucky to have them, and I know people say that, but I put them to the test, and I'm watching. I want to go back to one comment that those guys made before we get to the bylaws, just real quick. For many years we had an executive director. I just want everybody to kind of just think about this, and there was a way of doing business at that point in time. But when he left, I would give special thanks to Joe D. and to Vera and Nancy that were dealing with that situation. There was a transition period. And then on top of it, Joe D got hit with COVID. Well, he didn't get hit with COVID. The organization, COVID happened. Okay, so we have, all of that, but we kept that office staff together and that office functioning during all of that, and it did some amazing things. So great hires, and thanks to Joe and in particular Nancy and Vera for their leadership during that period of time. So we get to the bylaws now, guys. You may be asking why now, because we have a lot of bylaw changes in October when we reconvene. There's a reason we picked these two bylaws now. It's because we believe these two bylaws need to be addressed now. I don't have, while I was on the bylaw committee and have approved and agree with these bylaws, I know that there was a number of